Hi Gemini, Kendrick from Providence Tarot. Gonna do your September reading. Not too much of that mugwort. Okay, so I've already shuffled and cut the deck and stacked it, okay? So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to lay the cards out, okay? Challenge, immediate influence. So at the bottom of the deck, you got swiftness, which is the 8 of Wands, okay? That's Mercury and Sagittarius. So this is thinking fast and acting fast, right? I don't know what that was that just fell. Oh, thinking fast and acting fast, okay? So this is also just kind of like energy, electricity, right? Being able to, quickly go places. You know, this is a lot of travel too and a lot of getting around, or just kind of like a lot of plans as well that are being made with this Mercury being here, because you're looking at the details and you're having to consider details quickly. And I just want you to try to do a little bit more planning beforehand, since we still are in that Virgo energy, so that by the time that we're out of that Virgo energy, whatever it is that you needed to see happen or needed to see change, right? Because this 8 of Wands is talking about change that's coming in very quickly as well. And then it's talking about how you assert yourself and how you assert your power within this change that's coming in, right? And it's also related to Sagittarius, which is actually your 7th house. So this is talking about relationships as well, and how your relationships react and respond to all of these changes that are happening, and how people are going to be affected by the changes that are occurring in your life. Okay, that could be good or bad for some of you Geminis out there. And this is passionate change as well. This is change that you've sort of been hoping for and looking for and waiting for, because it's very optimistic here with this Jupiter being in Sagittarius. Jupiter is in the house that it rules, and being that it is your 7th house of relationships, this is probably bringing strength back to a sense of self as well. You know, it's also making you feel more encouraged, right? So this is encouragement as well, through like just re-acknowledgement from others, right? Because it has something to do with resources that people are providing you, that's going to help you move forward and, you know, expand on the plans that you have been making, provided that you have been making plans. Okay, so let me go ahead and flip over the card that is at the center of the reading for you, the High Priestess. Wow, Gemini, this is amazing because it's kind of related to you. Let me show you the card. So these changes have to do with you needing to cleanse, right? You needing to probably make some sacrifices, definitely, okay? And this also has to do with, you know, some things definitely being revealed, but then it's like you're kind of like more sensitive to a lot of things too, all of these changes that are occurring. These are both mutable cards, so it's talking about, you know, just kind of like all of these adjustments that might be happening. There are a lot of things that are going on right now in those houses for you, the other mutable signs, right? And also mutable planets. Neptune is squaring Jupiter right now, okay? And I believe that Neptune is what? It might be like 20 degrees or 21 degrees in Pisces, and then Jupiter is like 17 degrees in Sagittarius, or vice versa. I'm sorry, I don't have the complete details of that, but, you know, I'm just kind of pulling it in from like what I know. But, you know, this has to do with connections and making these connections with your subconscious, and how you might be, just needing to, take a step back and maybe give yourself a breather, you know what I mean? Maybe, do some things that are going to help renew your energy and renew your spirit, because this is saying that this stuff is taking a lot of energy out of you, you know what I mean? You are determined, but it just is, it sort of exhausts you at the end of the day, having to make all of these changes and having to consider all of these things, and, just be very diligent, you know what I mean? Yeah, so it's just saying that you're doing a lot of things and it's just taking a lot out of you. Maybe put some more energy back into you, at the end of the day. Maybe you need to get some flowers. Think of some things that are going to be creatively uplifting for you, probably like listening to music, maybe some classical music, something like that. Things that are very natural that are going to benefit your sensory system, right? Fresh air is also important, right? What you look at, maybe you need to be looking at some beautiful things right now so that you can kind of like help bring yourself into this place of calm, right? So you can stop and smell the roses, right? Really consider what's out there that is of value, that you might be ignoring, you know what I mean? That type of thing, okay? This also has to do with, the place that you live in, your security. It's your emotional security, definitely, right? So you need that for your emotional security, right? There's things happening around you very quickly, but you also need to stay centered, okay? The challenge, the immediate influence is the star. Okay, so this is Aquarius, and your ruling planet Gemini, or sorry, your ruling planet Mercury is actually in Virgo right now, and it's about to go transit into Libra. Okay, the star card is Aquarius, which is a fellow air sign of Libra. And Venus is related to you through Libra, so you might be dealing with a Libra, or you might be dealing with some Aquarius, right, energy. You might be dealing with somebody that has some, like maybe Sun in 11th house, something like that. Or this could have to do with the friendships being challenged right now because of these changes that might be occurring around you. Or maybe you're so busy that your friendships may have been sacrificed, or there might be something going on with the friendships being sacrificed. Or maybe you felt like you could have given up some friendships for something. Also, Gemini, this card also talks about your environment and how you relate to your environment, okay? Because the star card is saying, you are your individual self and you are relating to everything that's going on around you, but you do need to stop and center yourself. It's talking about meditation, and it's really over. It's like the High Priestess card, which is Pisces, so you might be dealing with a Pisces Gemini, right? And then you have the card that's behind it, or, the card that's right next to it, adjacent to it in the zodiac. You have the star, which is Aquarius. So this is talking about perspective, right? This is talking about understanding the big picture, things being deeper than you may think that they are, right? Things also being revealed with time. There's some things going on with Saturn here, which are, there's some transformations that are happening. You know what I mean? Neptune is where is Neptune exalted? Neptune, I believe, might be exalted in Sagittarius, so you might be dealing with travel, you know what I mean? And then Uranus is exalted in Scorpio, so the star card being, Aquarius, and Uranus is ruling that. Then, you might be going through some transformative things, or maybe you're going through some cycles of some very hidden things that may have to do with some scorn, right? And you're maybe just healing from that, I'm getting the power of resentment and the control that might even have over you, because the star card is talking about a controlled perspective on something. You know what I mean? And it also is talking about a controlled outlook that you are giving the space to be renewed. Right? Kind of refresh, that type of thing. Because I was thinking about this today. The star card is Aquarius, and where am I going? Esoterically, Aquarius is ruled by Jupiter, okay, esoterically. So when we think about it being number 17, right, and it being an 8, we're thinking about power, right? The power of the mind, okay? And where you can go, where you can travel in your mind, you know what I mean? So this is talking about astral travel, and this is talking about, just going to very deep places of understanding and big picture and perspective. You might just be kind of like, yeah, you're pulling in things from your environment that you can relate to, that are part of your subconscious, that you need to reveal, right, in order for you to process them. Shit. Now let's look at your past. In the past, you have sorrow, which is the Three of Swords, and this is talking about, the harmonization that comes from a harsh understanding of truth, in a relationship, right? And we're talking about, a lot of different things occurring with this being a 3, and it's related to you, communication. A lot of things may have been said. There might have been some hurtful things that were said because it comes from that thing of Saturn needing to be the authority. So Saturn is willing to do whatever really to get what it wants. It's very relentless. So someone may have been relentless in the way that they were communicating with you, or it could even have to do with some kind of mind control as well. This has to do with sorrow, and it has to do with heartache, and it almost made even, but it's actually allowing you to realize, right, and make the connection with your conscious mind on what lesson is being learned within this relationship over time. You need to disconnect from whatever it is that you feel like you were receiving that was painful from it. What do you understand about what was painful about it? That what are you receiving? What is that message telling you? It's the 3 of Swords. It's saying you needed this, right? Okay, so now let's look at your sun position. In your sun position, you have change. And that's what I was talking about. This is the 2 of Pentacles, and the 2 of Pentacles is talking about allowing yourself to, make the connection in terms of the progressions that you are actually achieving. These are like little achievements that happen. It's kind of like, what do they say? Small goals, right? Make the small goals, and then when you make the small goals, and those turn into bigger and bigger and bigger goals. You know what I mean? And then this is also just kind of like an understanding of how to deal with change. You know what I mean? How do you respect change? You know what I mean? Also weighing things out, understanding, what needs to be done, right? What's working and what's not working, because it is weighing things out. There's some alchemy here, right? So there's some planning going on here with, maybe where you might be going or where you might be working, right? So you're trying to plan jobs, right? You're working towards something, okay? You might even be thinking about having 2 jobs here, okay? And this is also just talking about how you deal with change and how you cope with change and how you stay motivated within that change, right? Because it's Jupiter, and Jupiter wants to motivate and encourage. And Capricorn also, that energy is slowing things down. So this is a slow progression, you know what I mean, Gemini? So this is something that, whatever this is, it's like you're bringing a focus to a change, right? So it's saying like the change is happening, but there's still more work to be done, right? Because Jupiter is talking about more of something, and Capricorn is definitely talking about the work. So there is more work to be done with whatever given time you're giving yourself, or, even if time is not that important, you know what I mean? It's just talking about the respect of time and the sharing of time too, right? And the distribution of time, right? So, time changing and things like that, dates changing, something like that. Okay, so then we have SIV, which is art. This is the Temperance card, okay? And it's so interesting. One of my classmates from Juilliard that I dance with, and also one of my roommates from the dorms, his company is called Company XIV, and it's dance, and it's Baroque dance, and it's burlesque, and it's opera, it's all of that stuff, and it's very artistic, and it's a hit here in New York City. So if you ever come to New York City and you can make plans to go see a Company XIV show, go and see that show. But the Temperance card, which is what I was talking about, seeing things work, trying to make things work, being very creative in how you see those things working, right? Because, Roman numeral 14, or the number 14, reduces to a 5, and that is related to Taurus, which is talking about what you have, but then it's also related to the 5th house, which is Leo, which is talking about what you can create. Okay, so this is saying that you can create magic, you can create miracles along with your belief in the higher power that actually is there to assist you. It's kind of like you're coping with the difficulties, but it's kind of like you're coping with them in a beautiful way, in a way that is very divinely influenced. You know what I mean? You have to do that because it has to do with like being strong as well in your spirit, okay? Because it's like being strong within the margins or within the constrictions, right? Because Taurus rules the neck, right? And then, the 5th house is that's this 5 is related to the Hierophant, which is talking about environments that are controlled, right? Beliefs that are controlled, right? So, you definitely have to be, you're changing your beliefs and your emotional self, right? That part of you is, is feeling it intensely. Okay, and we're having a full moon come up in Pisces, which is going to square the energy of Jupiter being in Sagittarius, and this is a Sagittarius card, right? And the fifth house squares the sign that is related to the Hierophant, right? Which is Taurus. Okay. Anyway, this is Sagittarius here, talking about goals, talking about getting somewhere, talking about getting somewhere within your spiritual self, right? Okay, this is spiritual enhancement and spiritual growth. Okay, so now we're looking at your anxieties, and in your anxieties, you have prudence. So this is talking about you have anxieties about work. You have anxieties about staying focused about your work, right? Um, Also, this has to do with just kind of like the belief in oneself and what you can do in terms of like be better of service to others and be of better service to yourself. But you have to understand what it is that you need to work on to be of better service to yourself and others first. So it's talking about working on yourself as well, right? With this 8 being here and it being related to the 8th house, which Mars rules. So that's talking about the self. So this could also even be that you have anxieties in terms of like what you might be able to get out of work. It's saying that you need to just continue to strive for what it is that you had your focus and your intention on, right? This is also Mercury and Virgo, so this is talking about planning. You might be having anxieties about making some plans, okay? And here we go with this mutable energy again, right? And then also that fixed energy that we were talking about. Anyway, yeah, so that's the thing. It's talking about money too. You have anxieties about money, you have anxieties about job and all of that stuff and keeping something going, or this could be planning in terms of work or planning in terms of jobs, or it may not be that you have anxieties about work, getting work, but it's anxieties about work and planning, right? Because this 8 is related to the 8 of Wands right here. All right, let me keep going. All right, the Ace of Cups in the Mars position. Okay, so your impulse is you're ready to cleanse. You're ready to cleanse your spirit. You're ready to listen to your intuition. Right, you're definitely acting on your intuitive instinct here because this is an Ace of Cups. So we're talking about the first house, which is Aries. We're talking about instinct. You know what I mean? I might even be talking about work. You know what I mean? It's kind of like you need something. Some of you do, right? So some of you need work that you're going to be very engaged, right? You're trying to stay engaged, right? This is also being very receptive to whatever it is that your emotions might be telling you, and then you're acting on that. You know what I mean? So if it's something that you need to say, if it's something that you need to express, then maybe you need to act on that. You know what I mean? Okay. And then now, and that could even have to do with work too. So there's something that you need and there's something that you want in terms of work, right? And in terms of building something, but you have to start it, right? You have to get to the first stages of that. So go ahead and allow yourself to be more receptive in terms of like what you could allow in so that you can achieve whatever it is that you need to, so you can get to this next step. Because the Sun is saying you have the 2 of Pentacles here, which is bringing focus on progression. And this Ace of Cups here is the idea of something, right? The feeling of something, right? It's the initiation of a feeling, but it's through action, or it's the action that comes from a feeling. You know what I mean? And it's just saying that you need to go ahead and like act on these feelings so that the focus of this 2 of Pentacles here and change will allow you to feel like the change is occurring. Okay? Anyway, and your outcome and the energy moving forward, we have the Public Defender, Gemini, which is the Queen of Wands. And you could be dealing with an Aries. You could be dealing with a Sag, or you could be dealing with a what am I saying, you guys? What is that other sign? Leo. Okay. Wow, I don't know why I couldn't think of that. I'm getting, you can't change a tiger stripes, or you can't change a leopard spots. You know what I mean? They are what they are. You can't take them off. You know what I mean? I'm getting, it's like trying to change a leopard spots. You know what I mean? It's almost like no. And who are you defending too? Like, who are you defending? Are you defending yourself? Are you defending your actions? Right? I feel like you're defending your actions, right? Because it's the Queen of Wands, and then it's the self too. Definitely related to Leo and Aries. So it's talking about the self. It's talking about the ego, and it's like protecting your ego. You know what I mean? Because it's kind of like somebody might be actually like preying on your energy right now. You know what I mean? Or something could be preying on your energy energy and you're just trying to, or something might be trying to get your attention to prey on your energy again, and you're like trying to not do that. That's why this Ace of Cups is here talking about you need to actively cleanse, right? And cleanse the spirit, right? Okay, so let's look at your future card. Valor, Seven of Wands, right? That's what I was saying. You have the Public Defender next to, sorry, this is the Public Defender, you guys. I didn't even read your Venus. In your relationship, the Venus is the gourmet chef, right? This is the Nine of Discs. So this is talking about intimidations in terms of, what you're going to be able to offer, what you have, what the situation might have to offer you. It's kind of like what you're giving to it, and what you have given to a relationship, and what you have been given back in terms of like what's the equalizer here? I feel like I'm getting the word equalizer, and that's not a word that comes up in my head a lot. You know what I mean? And the Knight of Discs is actually Virgo, but then it's also Leo. It's 1/3 Leo, and I'm reading it like some people would say, oh, you're reading it like Golden Dawn, and that's okay. But yeah, this is a Thoth-based tarot. So, but this is the gourmet chef, and a lot of people when they do Thoth-based tarot decks, they change some of the words for themselves too, to make it more original to their deck. Anyway, this is the Urban Tarot deck by Robin. I'm going to have to look at that. I told myself to remember, and I'm so sorry. Anyway, you have the Seven of Wands here, which is talking about you really protecting your ego and fighting against the opposition, right? And it's also talking about, weighing things out, right? Weighing out what to actually do, and this is the Valor card, but then it's like you're definitely going to get to the Swiftness card, right? So it's kind of like the Valor card is feeling the opposition of wanting to move forward, because it's a 7 related to the Chariot and talking about moving forward, right? But it's saying you're going to have to like stand up for a little bit more that you believe in, but you have to believe in yourself and that you can do it, right? Because you might be feeling like everything is going against you right now, but you're going to have to be more relatable to your experience. So stop fighting your experience, right? You know what I mean? It's kind of like, I don't want to have to go through this, but it's like you have to go through this. So stop fighting, having to fight to get through it. Anyway, and that's just in your emotions, right, too. And it's also in your mind, you know what I mean? It's head and heart, okay? Because it's Leo, okay? But it's also a 7, so it's related to the 7th house, but then it's also related to Cancer, which is talking about home, right? And it's talking about environments that you feel comfortable and safe in, okay? So this is an environment that you may not feel comfortable and safe in anymore, or you may not be feeling comfortable or safe with this business partnership or this contract or this bond that you felt like you were going to have to come into. Something's not fair. You feel like something's not fair. The actions of others aren't fair, so you feel like you need to move forward, right? That's why I'm getting equalizes. Okay, so now, your card at the very top of the reading, which is what we're stepping into, darling, which is related to your Ace of Cups here. The Ace of Discs. So this is preluding to this 2 of Discs becoming a 3 of Discs, which is saying that the building is happening, right? And I talked about that earlier in the reading, and I don't know why it came up to me because, it was probably because of this 2 of Pentacles here being in Jupiter and Capricorn. But this Ace of Pentacles is saying you're planting a seed. You're starting something new. This is definitely a change of face for you, a real change, right? A reality change, one that you will actually feel either in your pocket or out of gaining something or out of having a new experience to start to build something bigger, right? Because you're at the small steps. There's kind of like an idea, right, that you want to bring into reality, and the reality form is there, but it's kind of like now it has to be approved. Now it has to be approved by others. Now it has to be approved by you. Now it has to just be noticed. It's a new way of doing things. You know what I mean? It's strange. For some of you, you don't know what this thing is yet, right? Because it's an ace, you don't know what it is yet, and that's what you're coming into, so you don't know. But this is also saying, feeling a responsibility as well in terms of this thing, that to see that you're planting, okay? Starting something new for sure. And it's going to be bigger than the last thing, or it's going to be better or greater than the last thing, or the last time, right? And it might have to do with work or money or finances, basically. or just you yourself, your body. Okay, Gemini, that's your September reading. We definitely have a full moon in Pisces coming up soon, which squares you. But there are no planets in your sign right now. But you do have that Jupiter in Sag, which squares Neptune and the moon in Pisces. But those are two planets that rule both of those signs, or something like that. Neptune is fine in Sagittarius, actually. Okay. Bye, Gemini. Oh, like, share, and subscribe. If you would like a reading, email me at providencetarotkendrick@gmail.com. And also follow me on Instagram. I'm NYC Kendrick. And I'm also Providence Tarot on Instagram. If you would like to follow another account of mine, it's the Tongue Pop. Okay, I'm reading this Sunday at Shanti on 14th Street between 2nd and 3rd Avenues in the East Village.